If you want to understand the AI revolution that's happening all around us, you don't need a crystal ball. Turns out, you just need a playbook. And the best part? It's one we've all seen before, with the internet's massive 25-year transformation of our world. But here's the crucial difference. The internet, well, it rewired communication. It made it practically free and instantaneous to move information around. AI, though, it's doing something much deeper. It's rewiring cognition itself. It's changing how we create and process information, which gets to the very heart of thinking and creativity. So the big question is, how do we get our arms around this second, even bigger rewiring? Well, like I said, the good news is we have a template. By really digging into the internet's 25-year journey, we can pull out some incredibly clear lessons that'll help us understand the AI revolution as it's happening.
Okay, so let's crack open that playbook. To get a handle on where AI is going, we first have to understand the 4 key plays the internet ran to completely change the world.
The first lesson is all about speed and scale. You see, the internet's growth followed this classic 25-year S-curve. It started kind of slow in the 90s, then completely exploded in the 2000s. And now it connects more than 2/3 of all humanity. You need to remember this pattern, because we are absolutely going to see it again, just on a much, much faster timeline. And this wasn't just people sending emails. No, this was a massive economic engine. At its peak, the internet was driving more than 21% of all GDP growth in developed countries. Think about that. It was fundamentally reshaping the entire global economy.
You know, that incredible growth wasn't just random. It followed a really predictable 4-step pattern. A new technology sparks huge productivity gains, which then gives birth to entirely new sectors like e-commerce. And then finally, all that new economic power starts to concentrate in a few superstar companies. We should expect to see this exact same pattern play out with AI.
Of course, a shift that big also completely redefined work. The internet automated a lot of routine information jobs, things like clerical work or being a travel agent. But, and this is so important, it didn't just get rid of jobs, it created whole new digital careers that were literally unimaginable a generation before, like software developers or digital marketers. But let's be real, the impact went way beyond just economics. Our whole society got reconfigured. The internet gave billions of people a voice, democratizing speech on a scale we've never seen. But the flip side of that coin? It created huge new problems with misinformation, totally destabilizing the quality of the information we all rely on.
Okay, so that's the playbook. Now let's see how AI is running those very same plays, but on a field that's way bigger, way faster, and honestly, where the stakes are so much higher.
And the first difference is just staggering. It's the speed. I mean, what took the internet the better part of a decade to do in terms of getting users on board, generative AI tools did in just a year or two. That S-curve we talked about is being compressed from decades down to just a few years. It's absolutely wild.
And the differences go so much deeper than just speed. Remember, the internet moved information. AI generates it. That shifts the whole impact from communication over to cognitive work. It also completely changes the power structure. It's less about the platforms and more about who controls the AI models, the cloud infrastructure, and the chips. And the risks? Well, now you've got all the problems from the internet era, plus the brand new challenge of autonomous systems.
So let's really zoom in on what this means for jobs. Remember, the internet playbook showed us that those routine, predictable information jobs were the first ones to get disrupted by automation. AI, though, takes this a huge step further. It's now starting to impact non-routine cognitive work. We're talking about jobs in law, coding, design, and finance that for a long time we thought were totally safe from automation. This is a much more profound and widespread disruption.
And just like with the internet, the potential economic prize here is just enormous. Some projections are suggesting AI could add up to 15% to global GDP by 2035. I mean, that's a level of economic impact that's on par with, or maybe even bigger than what the internet delivered in its heyday.
So here's the most important point of all. This incredibly powerful technology doesn't lead to some single predetermined future. Just like with the internet, the choices we all make as societies, as governments, as individuals, those are what will decide the outcome. So in our first scenario, let's call it the we get it right scenario, we harness this massive productivity boom and we make sure it's widely shared. Why? Because we proactively build strong safety rules and we adapt our education systems. It's a future of sustained, well-distributed growth, the best case. But there's a much more turbulent path. In this world, we still get the massive wealth creation,
But it all gets concentrated in the hands of a few, which just makes inequality way worse. The information environment becomes totally chaotic, poisoned by deepfakes, and all of that fuels social instability.
And finally, there's the most pessimistic outcome. Really, the worst of all worlds. In this future, those big productivity gains never really show up. But all the risks? Oh, they are very real, as cheap AI tools are used to amplify cybercrime and disinformation, causing public trust to completely collapse.
Ultimately, the biggest lesson the internet ever taught us is that technology is not destiny. It's a tool. It provides the raw power. But our choices in how we govern it, how we educate people, and the ethics we build around it, that's what will actually write the next chapter of the human story. So the question for all of us is, which story are we going to choose to write?